All right, people. Welcome to another great show of TFR Podcast Live. That's hashtag TFR Podcast Live. Let's talk Djing. Our guest DJ for this morning, 9 a.m. What's up to everybody? This is the morning, the official wake up show in the mornings with the DJs, right? Our guest for this particular show. I remember when my wife and I came out to Las Vegas in 2012, you know what I mean? And we were listening to the radio and they said Evander Holyfield and barbecue sauce and the radio station was going to be there, and on the mic was a certain person, and then on the wheels was this particular DJ. And I said, well, let's go out there and meet some new people and go on out there and get some interviews for the Black Ice Chronicles, you know. And so we went out there, and the first two people that we met was Thump, and the DJ on the Wheels of Steel that day was the infamous DJ Remix. And you know, they made you feel like family. They wasn't standoffish to the camera, and they, you know, came right in and did interviews, and I cut the Memorial Day mix that still stands today on the Film Review Live channel. 2012 Memorial Day weekend, the infamous DJ Remix, spinning, cutting, and without further ado, without any more fanfare, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the visual right now is the infamous DJ Remix. And I see that he's sporting a certain shirt there. Yeah.
Of course. I gotta represent, man. I gotta represent, dude.
So how you feeling today there, Remix?
Look, man, I'm still alive to talk about and stay productive. Trying to maintain strange things as usual, especially during today's stuff. Real life of today.
Real life of today, you know, that is
yes.
truly, absolutely true. That we're going through certain situations out there in the community. We don't know who's doing what, but we know that if we play our cards right, it can be a productive situation for American Black society if we stand up. Right. So what do you feel about that?
We can't let off the gas. We got to keep the pressure. We got to keep it pushing. We got to keep that same pressure that they applied to George Floyd's neck. We got to keep that same kind of pressure. We got to keep the pressure going.
Got to keep the pressure going.
That's it.
All right. So let's get on to why we are here, to celebrate the infamous DJ Remix. Like, so I told that intro story there, but what I didn't say was the ability of this man on the ones and twos to almost make it sound like it's being mega mixed with the echoes and the cutting and scratching and the beat juggling, as he calls it. So we're gonna get right into it. Let's start as a little boy. What was your most earliest influence that led you to want to become a DJ?
Music. My natural thing. I'm a musician at heart. I was originally a drummer. My dad was a drummer. I'm talking in diapers, playing and practicing with my dad's band. He'd go take a bathroom break, and I'm in there playing the stuff, and they can't tell the difference if you close your eyes. I'm a natural musician.
Okay.
And so my dad, music is that's it, period. The drums, it was it. So I went from this to this. It was a natural thing. It no thought to it. It just was a natural progression.
And so, from that natural progression, when did you first see cutting and scratching? When did you first hear it, and what record was it? And then when did you first actually see it?
Hearing it, you hear it. I'm a product of the 70s. Born 70s. Raised 80s. So the early 80s, we had hip hop. We had hip hop and things like that. The first time I saw it was the Rocket video.
Okay.
I'm about 8 years old and seeing it, but matching the visual with the hearing.
Okay.
That was amazing. It was really amazing, but I mean, cutting, you have various records and things like that. One of the records that I heard kind of in transit was Grandmaster Flash's, On the Wheels of Steel, his actual mix, you know what I'm saying, that he pressed up. And we thought that was pretty awesome, the shifting of it and everything in transit. That was awesome. It just sounded good. For me, from a musical standpoint, I really thought that was amazing. I didn't delve into the technique of it, but I really, as a kid, it was like, that's awesome. That was pretty much it,
Mm-hmm. So when did you first get your hands on a set of turntables, and describe them compared to the technique? And now, and we don't even talk about the Rain yet, because Rain is a totally digital thing. We're talking about analog, right? So tell me the difference between those and 1200s.
Okay, well, then that takes me back to being a DJ, but not even trying to be a DJ. I was that kid. I was in diapers stacking 45s, stacking albums. You know what I'm saying? So that was a natural thing. You pretty much, as they say in a digital format, I was putting a playlist together, stacking 45s, and stuff. So I was already doing that. My parents had the music, my grandparents didn't, so I was just stacking 45s. Like I said, my dad was a musician. My mom and them used to throw after hours house parties.
Okay.
So, I lived at the house, so I was able to roam the house and go to the backyard, go to the garage, and then I'd be in charge of stacking the records, and the playlist and stuff. As time progressed, I wasn't even, honestly, the DJing thing was not necessarily on or off my radar. It's something I end up getting into from a rebellious standpoint.
Okay. Because
my brother, who was about a year and a half older than me, I'm the only child with my mom, but my dad has other kids, and the other mother of these three children who are right over me, they all had the same mom. So I have a brother that's a year and a half older than me, rest in peace, he passed away, and two sisters. Their mom and my mom, cool. So I was able to be raised and grow up with them. Times they stayed with us, I stayed with them. And this is in Los Angeles, California. So they were living at a certain time, this is about 83, 84, they were living in the jungles of Inglewood. And at the time, my mom was in transitive stuff, so I went and stayed with them for like a school year or whatever like that. And my brother, who was older than me, he was into different stuff. And one of those things was talking about turntables. No, you find old record players and phonographs, someone threw away in the alley or whatever. And my brother, him and his friend got this record player they found. He closed it and opened it like a suitcase. You know what I'm talking about. That's a real phonograph record player right there. And one of the first records that they was messing with was the Art of Noise beatbox. So again, what am I saying? This is still 83, 84. This is 83 around that time. So all this is happening at the same time. And my brother, I knew in my heart, like being a musician, like all that, doing the basic stuff, I was like, I can do that without thinking about trying to do it. Now, again, this is still that time where we on the West Coast were still making our mixtapes. So you having the beginning of your mixtape start off at the tone, the time will be 9:05. It's time. That's how we was rocking it. So that's normal to me. That's very normal to me. That was nothing new. It was normal. That's the way we was. My brother didn't want me to touch his stuff. Mm-hmm. And so it got to a point where it was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. And
there was no pitch control. No pitch control.
Nah, he got to one point, he had an equalizer, like I told you, the ones with like 10, 12 bands at the top for the left and 2 and 12 bands for the right. You maneuver in the one turntable you found in the alley in mono to the top part, and then the other one that might sound clearer, you got it on the right side, and then you push the whole EQ in mono, and you messing with it. His mixer didn't even have a fader. You know what I'm saying? And that mix was like $150 back in 1983, like a realistic or something like that. You know, this is what we was doing, and I knew I could do it because then one of the records we was mixing on then was Roxanne Shante. You know, all the Roxannes, you know, all the Roxanne records, point blank. So doing that stuff was natural, but going back to my brother, he wasn't being mean. He was just being an older brother, and you can't do that. But for some reason, the musician in me was like, yes, the hell I can, and I'll show you. And it just ended up being that way. You know, just ended up even before my brother had passed away, me and him had a conversation. He told me, he said, I'm real proud of you because you stayed with this, you know, and everything. I said, you're kind of my inspiration indirectly, you know. So, you know, like I said, it's indirectly. So I was going to do something in music one way or another because I have rapped, I've produced, hell, I still produce. You know what I do, you know, DJ the whole nine. But I was going to do something in music, whether it was on the turntables or the drums or producing whatever. It's just a natural thing in my bloodline. My kids are the same way. My grandson is the same way. You know, so whether it was DJing or I was going to do something in entertainment, but it was going to be music based. I was not going to get away from that. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. So during that time, did you used to take remember those large component sets or the miniature ones with the 8-track tape? Did you used to take the screwdriver and screw down the bounce table?
Oh Lord, have mercy.
To make it so
you know what?
Scratch on it.
You know what? Okay, with the 8-tracks, I didn't too much mess with the 8-tracks. I recorded on them. Like I remember being 4 or 5 years old recording or something like that. But I also remember back in like 1982 when the Gap Band album Early in the Morning that came out. Even back then, I had an idea. I was like, I want to record the song like on the 8-track. I said, but I don't want to record it from the beginning. I want to go to the entire long bridge with a guitar player going off, record that first, and then come back and start the song. I had that idea in 1982 when I was 7 years old. I didn't do it. Those ideas didn't start manifesting until I had cassettes. Now, speaking of what you're talking about, my mom had a Sansui system. Okay, that's an old Sansui. You know what I'm talking about. And you had the whole stand-up, you know, thing. So my mom was dope back in the day. This is 87. My mom, one of the only people I know, we had a CD player in the house in 1986. The first CD she ever bought was Bobby Brown's Don't Be Cruel. You know, actually that's 86, 87. Yeah, whenever Bobby Brown came out, we had that CD. She had a CD player in the Sansui system. And it was one component, but it wasn't. The turntable was its own, you know, to plug it in, you had an amplifier, then you had a double cassette, then you had a CD player, and you had an EQ. And all those things were connected, but they were independent of each other. Mm-hmm. So you know who is putting foil and stuff under the damn needle and messing up stuff. My mom come on, who broke my needle? You know, so I'm getting my ass whooped and I'm getting in trouble for lying. But at the same token, I'm disconnecting stuff. I'm learning how to plug in and outs and stuff up. I'm like, oh, I can take the cassette. Oh, so when I go to the club, I can literally take the double cassette to the club, hook it up to the realistic mixer, and record. Mm-hmm. I'm hands-on experiencing this stuff. My mom pretty much gave me that system and bought some new stuff for me to tear up. And I'm just, you know. So turntables, the first set of turntables with speed control that I was able to get and put hands on came in 1990, and they were 1200s. Before that, it was, like I said, it might have been a record player someone was throwing away, and I go out there and know how to wire it up and jigger rig it and everything, and it may not have, I think I might have came across one with pitch control or something like that, but not really. But I was able to scratch, you know, I was able to triple threat even without faders, because I understood it from a musical standpoint. I knew how to count bars and all that stuff then, so I had to clack, 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 boom, 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 clack, 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 boom, 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 clack, clack, clack. I understood that just by hearing it from as a musician, not as a DJ. So it was natural to me. It was just a natural rudiment to me.
Okay,
you
so
know.
before we get to the 12s in 1990 and get into this, because you're speaking on skill now and skill. So, did you ever do the pause button cassette to double cassette tape that mixes where you go die.
I'm glad you said that, because you just opened up the floodgate for something a lot of people don't know. There's two sides to the infamous DJ remix. Okay, there is from 80. Like I said, I started being a DJ, DJing in 83, 84 to be rebellious against my brother. My DJ name was not DJ Remix. That name didn't come into play. My name I gave myself was Magic G, because you had to have an initial in your name, right? So everybody know my real name started with a G. So I was like, I'm Magic G. Yeah. But that didn't really signify what I did and how I thought. So yes, my mom, going back to them double cassettes, she had the cassette player where that pause button was tight. I'd be looping Sexy Lady by the Commodores on there, just loop it 20 times. But I'm writing lyrics because I'm rapping. That's what people don't know. Because again, I was rapping. So throughout junior high, I was known as Remix D. Okay. But the name Remix surfaced from one record. Again, I was Magic G. I was already doing the pause mixes. I was already doing my who's calling me? Get out of here. And so I was already doing the pause mixes and breaks and stuff. I was to the point where I was doing my own dirty edits. Okay. I had America's Most Wanted 12-inch by Ice Cube, and when he get to the cuss part, I literally unpause, pull it back, and then go forward. That's the stuff I was trying to do back then and didn't have the technology, but had the cassette to do it. Mm-hmm. But I was Magic G, and then in 1988, the 12-inch of My Philosophy by Boogie Down Productions, that blue label Jive Records. I looked on there because, again, another lost art form that DJs of today that just started in the last 10 years know nothing about. I love looking at the credits and who produced. Bernie Gunman mastered, or your people in New York, and that stuff. Man, who's the drummer? Who's took the picture? Where was this at? And that 12-inch said remixed by Kenny Parker. Remixed. That's what I do. That's the word that expresses what I do. So it started remix, chop to E, remix D. Now that name was because of the rapping, and it was also the DJing, but it was like, okay, I'm rapping, and I had a lot to say and all that stuff. But then, as I went to high school, and now I'm DJing for my own peers. I'm at my high school. I'm ditching my high school to go DJ and battle with other high schools to come back and do my own high schools after dance. Now I'm DJ Remix, just period. So I'm Remix D the rapper, but I'm DJ Remix the DJ. All at the same time. Literally. All this was happening. So that name comes from what you were asking with the pause tapes. That was the ultimate expression of what it is I did. I just didn't scratch and mix. I remixed stuff. That's how I saw myself. And when remixed by Kenny Parker, kill everything else, kill the E, remix D. That's where it came from. For me. That is the origins of that name. And I believe that I am the first DJ remix. And I'm taking that back all the way to 88 now. I could be wrong, but I doubt it.
Okay. So before we get to the night, because you're pulling back layers of the onion of who you are. Okay, so let's go to...
I am a difficult character, crazy.
No, actually, you're... before we ask you about your emceeing, right? We know that you're a DJ. And did you break? Did you pop lock? Did you do any of that? Are you an all-around B-boy?
Yeah. I mean, I was when Rocket came out again. So when all that happened, I'm 7 or 8 years old. So yeah, I was calling myself trying to do that stuff and Chaka Khan. I was breakdancing and all that stuff, but I wasn't in the circles and all that stuff. I was doing it because all that stuff was bubbling at the same time. Put it to you like this: at that time, people were still rocking. People started rocking the Michael Jackson black and red zipper jackets, along with breakdancing, along with scratching, along with. See, all that was happening all within the same 2-year span.
That's crazy.
So
crazy,
I was dabbling with that. The only thing that I wasn't good at was doing the graffiti. I could tag, but the graffiti thing, I left that to the professional. Shout out to Shaka. We know who Shaka is in California. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's I dabbled a little bit, but the music in some form or another is where I stayed. That is the foundation of the Infamous One, point blank, from the ground up, literally, music.
Okay, so you Grandmaster Flash and Rocket by Herbie Hancock. Those are your two influences as a DJ. Who was your influence? What record did you hear that made you say, I'm gonna be a MC? I'm gonna be Remix D, or yeah. What was the record?
Honestly, I can't tell you that it was a record. It was, I don't know. For me, I when it comes to the rapping part, Remix D, I don't think it was a high influence. Like, I didn't hear something that I didn't like or I did like. It was what was going on at that time. Kind of like I said, like dancing a little bit, but all that stuff was happening. The only thing for me was I realized that I could do it. And I got better at doing it, and I continue to do it. So there's not to me, on that part, it's not a direct influence, because one thing that I try to do is just not be like everybody else. That's why the name had to make sense. That's why I'm like, it has to embody what I do. I just cannot be like, it's like that, or cruising down the street. I just had to be a little bit different, because even throughout history, hip hop history, there's only so many few DJs who were also rappers. Okay. And then if I add another layer to say simultaneously, you get what I'm saying? Because Dr. Dre, who was one of my idols, DJ long before rapping and producing, but started rapping and producing, slow down on DJing. There was one cat that I did like, and that's Derek B. Derek B, if memory serves me correct, he was a DJ and a rapper. Like, I like him. He was dope to me, because he wasn't so far out that you couldn't understand him, but he was still here with the DJ. He was respect. So rest in peace, because Derek B did pass away a few years ago. I remember that. But so him, in the influence of doing it, I say him, but it's not like he's the first one I heard. But rapping period, I knew I could do it. I started doing it, and I continued. So no direct influence, just the fact that I can do it. It was something else for me to do.
Okay. So let's talk about your technique, and I'm gonna give people a little piece of what your technique is like, real quick. Then we're gonna come right back.
You gonna be nice? You was being nice. You was showing me at the radio station. You was being nice, Crazy D. I'm on to you, man. I'm on to you.
Listen, what do you call your technique, and where does your technique come from? Is it a amalgamation from being a musician, from doing those pause button tapes, from rocking on turntables that didn't have pitch control, where you had to be tight to figure it out? Tell us where your technique comes from, and do you have a title for it?
A lot of what you said, yes. But the foundation of how I play is from a musician standpoint. It's musicianship. Okay. There's a lot of good DJs that know how to play songs. I like to mix music. That's what I hear. I hear music, and I'm not there to just play music. I'm there to entertain. I'm there to show you that there's a DJ there. Even when I scratch and stuff, that's a bonus. but I'm gonna do something that's gonna prove to you that it's not a jukebox playing. There's a real person playing, and who that person is me. I love to do different stuff. My imagination is almost limitless, but even with that footage that you showed, I'm on the radio. I can never uncuff myself and just totally be me on radio, because I'm just a weird individual, dude. My imagination is nonstop. I'm that dude. I can hear, everything is a sound to me. Everything is a musical note to me. Everything. The clicking of the fader is a sound to me. You know what I'm saying? So that is, I call it musicianship of DJing. That's what I call it. Point blank. That's what I honestly call it. There's some DJs who mix, and there's basic cadences to this stuff from a musician standpoint. A song will come on, you got your intro. Sometimes you have your, hey fellas, where they talking and all that stuff at the beginning of the song, and then the song kicks in for 8 bars, then you have a verse. The verse could be 16 to 32 bars, then you have a chorus, then you have another verse, then you have a chorus, then you have a bridge, then you have another chorus, then you have a third verse, then you got whatever you want to do. However you want to break it, Cheryl Lynn style. That's musicianship to understand, oh my God, counting bars. There's some DJs, as good as they are, your chorus is 32 bars, and you coming in with a new record like at 8 and 16. You see what I'm saying? I'm a musician at heart, so I DJ from a musician standpoint. A lot of us DJs are musicians. Shout out to DJ Thump, because he played drums and stuff too. We hear songs differently, because to us it's music. So that's the way that I try to play. I hear music in everything, dude. I be mixing Lori's theme of John Carpenter's Halloween. I mixed that with Little John, because I hear actually I rapped off that. Honestly, it just sounded dope to me. But I'm just saying, it's stuff like that, while not y'all, but while everyone else is hearing that's a slow song, that's a house song, that's a theme song, that's hip hop, that's R&B, that's breakbeat. I'm hearing music. You've heard me do the mix where I did the theme song to Family Ties.
Yeah.
Denise Williams and What Do We Do? And I mixed it with Snap Your Fingers. That's how I hear it. I bet we've been together for a minute. It's nothing but music to me. Everyone else is sitting back waiting on credits. I'm sitting back analyzing. Dave cut the record down to the bone. That's how I see it. It's just music to me, dude. Everything that has a sound is music to me. Even a needle skipping can be transformed. Because if what I'm saying is not true, then why is the most scratched sound effect in DJ history is the word fresh?
Okay. Were there any DJs that influenced early on as you were building your technique? Was there any DJs, or who were the DJs that influenced and go into your technique that then you came out and produced your own style of technique?
Okay. All of them are 80s DJs.
Okay.
From the ground up. Jazzy Jeff is up there. He is one of my technical idols. Because again, even his name, Jazzy Jeff, this dude pulled music. And he forced me to do digging. He forced me to appreciate music in hip hop, not just hip hop music. Grandmaster Flash, again, coming with the whole, oh my God, his mind and his thought process, his imagination. Love that. But then in my own backyard, to the people who I could, if I couldn't reach out and touch them, I could reach out and cut the radio on and hear them basically in my backyard. Los Angeles, Joe Cooley. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna even call him Uncle Jam's Army. K-Day 1580 AM, K-Day Mix Masters. I'm sorry, Dr. Dre, not the World Class Wrecking Crew, not the NWA, not the Dr. Dre, the DJ, West Coast, Dr. Dre. Aladdin. Those are the people that were in front of me. I'm a product of them, and I wasn't even old enough to be in the clubs, but I'm that one that was at home recording every mix show on Friday and Saturday night on K-Day. Oh my God, They playing top billing. They like top billing. All the DJs like, I'm that dude listening to them. It's a lot of those DJs that influence me. You got your Cash Monies. I love them. I love my East Coast DJs. You know what I'm saying? All them cats. Really dope. But the 80s DJs has more influence on me. Am I sitting at my top? Probably, to force me to look at DJing in a better technical sound way would be Jazzy Jeff. Benzo, our musical director over at Power 88, KCP Power 88 out here in Las Vegas, he says, man, you sound like Jeff. And I'm going to say it again. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, because I don't think I'm Jeff, but I love Jeff. I love the fact that when he scratches, it's part of the music. Now, I will say I adapted that. I don't just make a bunch of sounds. I'm trying to become part of what you're hearing. I try that. Basically, I am now to the drummer and bass and guitar and singers and keyboards. I'm just the added. I'm part of the band. That's just,
So before we get to skills, every holiday season, people are blessed by you to do your rendition, your cut mashup of Christmas rapping by Curtis Blow. And I don't know if you saw this, so I'm gonna play this right now. You know what I'm saying? Because anyway, I'm gonna play it and then we're gonna come right back.
You have to hear one of the DJs up here called the infamous DJ Remix, the way he cuts Christmas rapping. You have to hear that one day, because he does it justice. He does you justice, and I know you'll love it.
The music just turns me on. Don't you give me all that jive about things you wrote before I was alive. Don't you give me all that jive about things you wrote before I was alive. Don't you give me all that jive about things you wrote before I was alive. Cause this ain't 1823, ain't even 1917. Now I'm the guy named Curtis Blow, ain't Christmas is one thing I know. Now I'm the guy named Curtis Blow, ain't Christmas is one thing I know. Now I'm the guy named Curtis Blow, ain't Christmas is one thing I know. So every year, just about this time, I celebrate it with a roll.
Alright, so that's the infamous DJ Remix. Every holiday season, we are blessed to hear his rendition of Christmas rapping by Curtis Blow. And I just had to let Curtis Blow know. But this goes into
appreciate that, dude.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This goes into skill. How long did you practice before you knew you were good enough to go out and do a show? And do you keep that same regimen now? And does practice determine how great your skill will be as a DJ?
And you saying like what, to do a mix show?
No.
You saying?
How it's a 3 question in one. When you were younger, how long did it take you from practice to get out there to know that you were ready to rock a party? And when you rocked your first party, did the practice make perfect? Then, do you use that same regimen today to prepare yourself? And is practice what makes skill for DJs overall?
Well, practice enhances. It does. There's nothing that's perfect. We idolize things we call perfect, but there's no perfect nothing. There's flaws in anything. The question is how less of flaws. Because trust me, I am my own worst critic. Oh my God. I looked at that, what you just showed me, and I was like, man, that's dope. Not see, he didn't even have to pull back like he did. You know, I'm my own worst critic because I want to be magnificent in all that I do. But the first time I rocked a party, again, what stopped me from rocking a party was not having the right DJ equipment. That's why I said I didn't put hands on 1200s till like 90, something like that, 90, 91. And actually, it was my boy who had a pair.
What was it? What age?
I was about 15.
Okay.
I was about 15, 16. It's 90, 91. Yeah, about 15, 16. My boy had got a pair of 1200s and stuff. I had a lot of records and I had little, BS pieces of equipment. But at that point, DJing as a career from a business standpoint took off because it was like, oh, wait a second. So we did our first little apartment party. My friend's mom's boyfriend owned an apartment complex, and the little girl downstairs was our age and they needed a DJ, and looking back on it, we was cheap. That was a $75 party. Anyway, but we had transportation. His mom got us there in a Volkswagen, and that's telling you right there how much, the most expensive stuff we had was the records and the 1200s and a big ass Gemini mixer, pyramid mixer with built-in echo. Ugh. Those were the days, but doing that, the one thing it did, it was like, yo, they like what we doing and we had fun. And even back then, it was like, I think we might have took 3 crates of records. That was fun. But we need to really stay up on this music and certain things we need. I can't count how many times I didn't have to go to Radio Shack and buy crossovers and rewire Twitters with B52 woofers. And, it's that kind of stuff, So once we did, it ignited. Then, like I said, I started DJing at my own high school. I started doing the lunch dances. Then I started getting paid to do the lunch dances. It was like, ooh, $50. I'm happy. Watch out now. Okay. I can go buy me a super meal. So it was stuff like that. So but practicing, that's all we did. Even before then, I was producing mixes and practicing and producing rap albums via 4-track Tascam. All this was simultaneous, and this was normal. This was all in the bedroom. Kind of like, except not as big as this bedroom I'm in now. You just see my movie collection back there. But I'm just saying, all this happened in a room like this. 2 hots in the cot. Literally.
So
paying bass heads to steal records out of mom and pop stores. $20. Give them records. That's what we was doing. Sampling James Brown 45s. Scarring up the records, bringing the loops back. Talking about the pause mixing. Yeah, we were sophisticated with our Tascam. We scarring the hell out that record. It started like this. It ended like this.
Give them an example that you were playing earlier of an example of that. Because when I heard that, I remember and I said, that could be turntable or a pause button. And it seems like it's from that era. So give it to them and let them hear what real DJing on mixed cassette and CD sounded like.
Well, what I can play is something I did lately, but the mentality is exactly the same.
Right. You go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area. DJ from the old school in the mix. DJ Kite. This is in the house. Oh yeah!
I got the hit that'll get you bent.
The infamous DJ remix. In the mix. So if you think about violin, you better come here on a highlight.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's that mentality, dude.
So that can be laid over a beat per minute track, many different beat per minute tracks, and then it just roll all the way through. Right? Absolutely.
All I do, look, I do a bottom layer of a beat, and I'll let it roll. I don't know, minute and a half to whatever. I fill in the gaps as needed, and then I keep it pushing. It's all music to me. It's all music to me.
So, Let me
But
ask you
that
this.
mentality of nonstop, that is a lost art form. And again, even in the 80s and 90s, mixing like that and tracking mixers up, that was normal to us. That's the way we mixed on the West Coast. Period. That's how our mixtapes sound. Not this bull that you people rap. No, you're not a DJ. Shut the hell up. That's a real mixtape. You'd hear an intro like that, and then you'd hear stuff that you are familiar with, and we'd be on there breaking stuff. That's why I say like people like DJ Rectangle is one of my mixtape. He's one of my mixtape heroes. He's the king of intros. He'll give you a 5-minute intro, 10 just the intro before he even just get into the regular music. Just it's all in me, and that right there influenced me. Dr. Dre, he's the same way Grandmaster Flash did his Grandmaster on the Wheels of Steel press up. Dr. Dre was doing mega, as you call them, mega mixes. We call them tracked up mixes. He was doing stuff like that on Macola Records. He was tracking up mixes and they were pressing them. Dr. Dre, this is before Lonzo. This is him being a DJ on K-Day, one of the mix masters. We're used to that, but that is a lost art form. It really, really is. It's a lost art form. For Memorial Day, I actually let that mix, I let it go over the airwaves, and Benzo, I said, I have a wicked imagination. He said, yes, you do, brother. And that could be overkill for people who don't understand what that is, but they still snap like, yo, it's on beat, but they're not used to that. It's like, just scratch the record and let it keep going. I come from that generation where, you know, having a DJ in your title means you need to defend that shit, bro. And that's the mentality. There's for the infamous, there it is.
Okay. So, there was a type of mixtape that came from out of New York where the people would scream, scream, scream. You know, no shit. Right. Did the echo, was that taken from that? Because I remember when I used to DJ, I used to use the power stop button, and it would go boom.
Okay.
And then I would just drop it right on the one, right? There was no echo then. Did the echo come in from off of the Clue influence? Or does that echo come in from, or was the echo being used in California way before Clue came out with his mixes?
Well, okay. There's two answers to that question. Okay. There is the performance answer and there's the technological answer. Here's the technological answer. Did you ever own a realistic reverb? Little brown thing, little silver blackened thing you can plug it up and it did a little reverb? Well, DJs, some of us were using that, and that's just in the mix. That's not us talking.
Okay.
You know, then you had other bigger mixers like the Gemini and the Pyramid that had the echo on it, or actually not the echo, the reverb, because it was the reverb before it was for us, it was the reverb before the full control of echo versus the reverb, you know. So a lot of times when DJs was doing their mixed tapes, and they'll have a local rapper come on and rap at the beginning, they'll let his vocals be in reverb and then everything else. Or sometimes we record the whole mix in reverb. Because back in the days with the lowriders, they had a reverb thing in their car back in the 60s. So that comes out of that. The old school lowriders and stuff, they had the echo chamber and stuff in their car before we had it. That's the performance side. But then Funkmaster Flex, Clue, Big Cap, and a few of those other, Kid Capri included, those East Coast DJs, they were doing that, and my influences of them, or exposure to them, not influence, exposure to them is like, why the hell are they yelling over the record? We didn't do that on the West Coast. We didn't, all that yelling over the record. I didn't say we didn't MC. I didn't say we didn't tell you to put your hands up and hold up, wait a minute. But Clue. We was like, can you just shut the hell up? You know, that don't make sense to us. We, on the other hand, we did, from a technological standpoint, once we started like more or less doing infiltrating radio on a more bigger scale, not just at the bottom and locally, then our air horns, we got our custom drops, and then we started having other people say our name for us, kind of like hip hop did, in the 70s. Ball, you rap over the beat. That's what it started doing. Now everybody does what everybody do. It doesn't even matter. You can have so and so do it, whatever. It doesn't matter. But like I said, it's performance versus technological. We wasn't yelling over records like that. That was not our thing. We were yelling, but we wasn't. It wasn't like that. Was not our style. That wasn't, because you mess around and be at the LA Coliseum echoing and the blue and red rags would shoot the place up. So that wasn't our thing at that time. I'm just being honest.
Okay, your music selection is crazy mad. You know what I'm saying? Like the Mad Mix.
Thank you. What a wonderful phrase to coin.
Right. So let's take a look at this real quick. I know that you have never seen this, right? So we're gonna go right here, right now, and we're gonna come right back. Okay. So
that boy is good.
Yeah. So your selection of music, the way that you can blend in from hip hop to R&B to rock to jazz, blues, I'm sure. I haven't heard of blues mix yet, but I'm sure that you could do it, right? A reggae, pop, whatever, all the different genres of music, I've heard you do that, except for the blues, but I'm sure it's there. Where do you get your eclectic love of music? You talked about you being a musician, but where does the thought come from? You're sitting in the studio, sitting at the Mad Mix studio, and you're sitting there and you got the records and you say, let me go over to the crates and grab this, and this. Do you grab the actual vinyl first, go to the 12s, now figure it out, transfer it over digitally over to the Serato or Serato system, and then use the Rain 12s and reproduce it for radio? Tell us what that whole thing is and how important music selection is rocking a party or on radio.
Well, my process is, you got a whole lot of new gadgets and apps. So, if I hear something that I don't recognize, Shazam it is. And then I can go I'll say 75% of the time, depending on what it is, I can go find it. I have probably in my garage, I got a 2-car garage. On both sides of the wall is nothing but records, crates of records. One side is full albums, the other side is 12 inches and compilations divided between hip hop, R&B, and reggae. That's just all there is to it. And a lot of 12 inches I have, like for the past year and a half, I've kind of slowed up on recording records, just because actually I became a grandfather, so some of my time shifted a little bit. But if at some point, it's going to take me a few lifetimes to actually record all those vinyl pieces that I want. But when I do record stuff, people say, where did you get that from? I go, my garage. A lot of the DJs who they just been Serato-ish DJs that were not DJs before Guitar Center and Serato. They know nothing of what I'm saying. Stealing records from the swap meet, buying records, paying for the record pools. They know nothing of what I'm saying. So it's kind of hard for them to comprehend, why am I playing an instrumental? The art of even playing and mixing the instrumental, I'm probably the only one that really appreciates and does it. They don't even look for an instrument. They don't even think it's a necessity. It's a necessity, what happens is, whatever I think up, I'll pull it, I'll remaster it myself, may create a break out of it, may do an edit of it, may put a party break to it, and then that's it. But when it comes to doing radio, in my mind, I have a basic route to get from point A to point B, but I can't tell you what's gonna happen in between here and there. Okay. I don't, because that's part of the excitement of me being a DJ, because you just never know what I'm gonna do. Clubs is cool, but if I had to choose between doing clubs and radio, I'm radio all day, because nowadays the DJ is not respected the same way we used to be respected. We're just not. I get people want to do line dancing and all that, and that's fine, but that kind of takes away from the freedom as a DJ. But at the same token, I would never hire DJ Qbert to come rock a club. That's not his foundation. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They're not going to dance to a beat juggle all night. So you have to understand how to marry the two. When I'm live at the club, I'm playing the stuff that everyone wants to hear, which is cool. But the minute, 20 years ago, I could play stuff that everyone wanted to hear, and I could break stuff and hand it to them, and they trusted me and they liked it. Nowadays, it's not the same. You just better make sure that everything is noticeable and this, that, and the other. And I'm that dude. I think one of the reasons why I have so much respect and love is because I'm not that dude that live at the trap house. I like the trap house, but I'm not one to sit here and be living at 72 BPM at 9 p.m. That's stupid to me. I am from the era where I DJ by myself for 5 hours. I bring my own equipment. I'm DJing from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Bar closed at 2 a.m. in California. No liquor past that. That's me. So therefore, 10, 15 crates of vinyl was necessary. Why? Because at 12 midnight, I think I want to slow you down. I can go pull out my Marvin Gaye stuff and I can do a slow jam set. What I look like playing Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On at 9:15 p.m. That's how I view trap music. I get it, some hits, but I'm probably not the only one, but I know I'm one of the few that will rock 90 BPM, 100 BPM. I'm still rocking Chubb Rock, It Takes Two live in the club with Poison and stuff. Me and Benzo and maybe a few others, but everybody else is Baby and all that. I'm the one, I live between 85 BPM and 115 on a regular. And don't get me started at 120, because now I'm up with It's Time, Clearing Planet Rock to 130 and 135. I have no issue with doing it. A lot of these new DJs don't know how to do that. They will live at the trap house. There's more music. The trap house exists in the music world, but there's more music outside of the world of trap. Just like there's more music outside of West Coast, East. There's more music other than hip hop. There's more music than country. There's music, period. But that's why I like doing radio. And even radio have its moments. Trust me, Lord, geez, trust me.
So this gets into our last topic, because let's talk about DJing. Hashtag TFR Podcast Live is about technique, skills, music, and rocking the party, right? So you kind of went into it a little bit, but when you first started, did you used to do mix orders, where you would have like a mix order for the beginning when the people first coming in, then you had the main body of the party, then you had alternative records that you could throw in?
Well, yeah.
Or is
yeah.
But yeah. So how is it now? Do you ever get into the trap house? Do you ever
I
trap
do.
House?
Don't get me wrong, I do. I'm just not one. I just don't live there. Mm-hmm. I just don't live there.
So what's your mindset up for rocking a party? What's that mind state? How do you go about? How do you structure what you're gonna do?
All right. So a party versus the club, two different atmospheres. It's not the same. I'll start with the party, then I'll do the club. When it comes to a party, that's a different beast altogether, because see, here's some of the problems that I run into. One, everybody that know me knows I cuss like a sailor. Therefore, my music selection is always clean. Why? Because I DJ from kids in diapers all the way to elderly people in diapers. I make all the money. I DJ for the school district. I DJ for the radio. So if you hire me, you're not hiring me. I'm not the hood DJ in that shit. I got up out the hood. I'm not the hood DJ that's playing all the cuss versions of Eazy-E. I actually make my name on being clean. So when it comes to me doing a private party, depending on who I'm doing it for. Now, if it's my homegirl and she's like, oh man, you know what we want to hear? We want to hear all the good. Oh, okay. So they don't mind me playing No Limit, Soldiers. They don't mind me playing Eazy-E, and they ain't got a problem with me playing Cardi B. So I'm okay with that. They're not forcing me to live at the trap house per se. You see what I'm saying? But when they want to hear the stuff and it's 10, 11 o'clock, I ain't got a problem with playing it because I do have it. And I'm okay with that. Under them circumstances, I'm okay. But I have yet to sit here and go, I'm doing nothing but I'm DJing from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. at someone's house and all they want to hear is trap music. I don't get paid to do that. And my audience don't do that. But do I sit here and play some stuff? Yeah, that's personal house party stuff. I don't have an issue with that because they making sure I get fed and they making sure I got my root beer, my water, and my catfish and my pizza. So I ain't tripping on that. The club, that's a different beast altogether. Because now you dealing with doors open at 9 p.m. Then on top of that, we're going to go live at 10 o'clock on the radio. So you got two entities. One, you definitely cannot play dirty versions of nothing in the club, which I'm okay with. I have no issue with that. But you also got to make sure that the listening people listening to us broadcasting from the club is hearing everything familiar because we're in competition with other stations that's doing the same thing. So that becomes, for me, make sure you play the Cupid Shuffle. Ugh. Make sure you play the Wobble. Ugh. Make sure you play Bad Girl by Usher. Ugh. Well, the only thing that's kind of safe, that's universal, is if you start doing the old school. So now it's time to break out. Clap your hands, everybody. And you got what it's. You start breaking that out in the Apache, but you're doing a mega mix, a quick mix of that stuff, because you can't live there. You got to give them about 20 minutes. Then you come back to the trap house. That's how I set them up for the trap house. I just can't jump from 95 BPM and then I'm just gonna go to trap house. I can't. That musically makes no sense to me. Sorry, no disrespect, but it just means I can't do it. But just like anything else, if I do a wedding reception, I'm not finna come out the gate with all the party music while they walking in at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I'm gonna play some jazz music. I'm gonna play some calming music. I'm gonna play some lettucing. I'm gonna play some guapole while they're drinking and stuff. Now then, once they get a toast and it's time to party, hey, all right, it's time to party. The club is kind of the same way, but different pressures. Because now it's not like when I'm at the club while they walking in, I can get away with, playing my Bob James. Nah, I can't do that. I'm playing my R&B. I'm gonna give you some Anthony Hamilton, and I'm moving you up slowly but surely in BPM. But I'll be damned if I'm finna start at the trap house. I'm way at 72 BP. Forgive me. I just can't. I don't come from that era. I come from the era we rocking the club. We slow you down after 1 a.m. because it's time for you to get her number and get to going. We trying to help you get the coochie on the way out, not trying to encourage you not to. Flat out. I come from that generation. That's how we get down. That's why I'm probably the only one that rocks 100 BPM faster. You listen to my mix, I'm always the one that's more up tempo than everybody else. Always. Why is that, Crazy D? Why you think that is? Let me interview you. Why you think that is, Crazy D?
Because you're trying to keep the dance floor ass to elbow like a certain artist that
yes,
a certain artist that had. I've interviewed a lot of artists, but it was one artist in particular that had an acute respect for the DJ, and that was the late great Vaughn Mason, Bounce Rock Skate, Jammin' Big Guitar.
Rest in peace.
And so we're going to play this real
quick,
and we're going to come back and get your perspective on what he said. Here we go.
Unless you got money to pay somebody to play your fucking record, you want the DJs to break it. And when a DJ is in a club playing a song, and I'm going to ask you, when you have a DJ playing in a club and the dance floor is ass to elbow with people dancing, tell me what he's doing. While that's happening, what's he doing in the DJ booth?
Oh, he's figuring out the next records is going to keep the floor ass to elbow.
Thank you. And most people don't get it. So what? Now I give him one of my songs that has no feel of any song that's happening on the charts, in the clubs, or whatever. You have to do your homework. When I go to a club, I'm looking at, oh, he put that record on and Jesus Christ, the dance floor got ass to elbow. He put this other song on and it didn't. I don't want that song. But I go to Billboard magazine, it'll tell you what to play. Anyway, that said, you're absolutely correct. So why am I gonna give you a record that, how can he mix this in? A DJ is working. He's trying to find tools that he can play and make the dance floor stay packed. The last thing a DJ wants to see is the floor not to get ass to elbow. So why are you going to give him some creative crap that has nothing to do with, that's musical? Nobody gives a shit about music. Whoop, there it is. You've heard it 100 times. You couldn't tell me what the next line is.
So, you know,
rest in peace, Bob Mason. 'Cause
Von
that same day that you did that interview, I got that picture with him in studio, and I got my picture before you got your interview. And like you said, we didn't know that was going to be his actual last interview. And that was over a year ago. It don't even seem like it was that long ago. I remember it like it was yesterday, dude. But what he said, he's right.
But here's my question. Here's my question on it. Back in the day, everyone, well, at least coming from, everyone didn't have vinyl. So a lot of it would be on cassette or CD, and DJs didn't have the CD or cassette deck with them, right? And they were mixing on vinyl. Nowadays, you have the laptop. You have people can come up to you with jump drives. Is it feasible or even plausible that you would take the time to listen to see if it could fit something into a rhythm that could keep it ass to elbow, and you don't even take the time? So explain that to the artist, why the DJ would not take time to break a new record, nowadays.
In the club, not popping off. It's not, I'm not, and here's why, because two reasons. One, I don't know if your stuff is even sounding good, produced well, clean version, all that. And secondly, a lot of these artists are disrespectful anyway. I'm just gonna call it what it is. And if you don't like what I'm saying, middle finger to you. But the reality of it is, y'all don't even have your stuff mixed down properly. You want us to be DJs and represent you. You don't even give us stuff that we need. Like, I don't know, instrumentals, clean versions, acapellas. How about the respect of making sure it's mixed down and sound right? Because I've had a whole lot of artists where after the fact I was like, dude's lyrics is on point, but his damn production is horrible. If he give me the acapella, I can flip it over something else and make it sound even better. That's me. But I'm not just in the middle, oh man, hurry, I don't know what your stuff sound like. I don't know who you are, especially with me being the clean DJ, doing a club, representing radio. No, I'm not gonna, that's not the same. Now, if we at the radio station.
Are you approached while you're
at
the club? What about?
I have been.
So is it different at a bar, at the club, at a party, at a house party? Is it different criteria where you would possibly slide it in if you listen to it and say, oh, it sounds pretty mixed good, the vocal is pretty good, let me throw it in? Would there be a place where you would take that opportunity or that chance?
Radio.
Okay.
And that's not even a high chance, only because, again, you're dealing with the microwave generation. Now, if this was 23 years ago, this is 97, 98, heck yeah, let's try. Something different is better than current. That's not the case now. Everything is spoon-fed, and it's the now microwave generation. If I'm at a house party, and again, I don't do a lot of house parties. I kind of calm down on those. But depending on who I'm DJing for. Now, if someone's there and they know or whatever, that's something different, because, if I'm not DJing for kids and the person paying me to do the party, I'm gonna play their stuff. Cool, I ain't got an issue. But when I'm in the club and I know damn well I'm playing something that, one, I don't want to play, like I gotta make sure that the women hear Bad Girl. Shout out to my homegirl Mia, because she said she liked it. I know she liked the song. But if I'm playing that and I'm getting them up and they don't want to dance to, I got a whole computer full of new music that I know is banging, but because they don't hear it on radio, club is not the place to break new music. So I'm already playing something I don't want to play that's 20 years old, but the women are dancing, and then here you come a long time about, I got something new, can you play it? I might hear it in my earphones and be like, that stuff is really dope. And it's not getting played tonight, but I'll debut it on the Mad Mix. I've had dope records that I would not play. Why? Because people don't know what it is. The club is not the place to break it. If you're not there for a talent review, or you just there to hear the DJ rock, it's not 20 years ago I could do that. I can get on the mic and say, I want y'all to stand up and support. That ain't the case. It's not. It's different generations. Because let me interrupt them doing their line dances off the wobble talking about I got some new stuff. This is total echo chamber.
I remember
the beats sound good.
I remember when Digital Underground came out with Humpty Hump. There was a club in Cleveland called Vales, and the DJ was Mark Cox at the time. And it was summertime. And he dropped Humpty Hump on, and the dance floor cleared. He said, all right, just give it 6 months, and this is going to be jumping. So, for some reason, we were in the club in the winter, exactly like 6 months later, and went, come home to me, baby. Came on, floor just packed. Is there
that's 69 to tickle your rear?
Is there any time that you take a chance to break a record and foretell the audience that this will be a hit? Do you do that, or do you wait until it's a hit?
If I do that, I take more of a chance if it's an R&B record.
Okay.
And again, that's a chance I take during the opening, the first hour, 45 minutes while people coming in, while they're, they don't walk straight to the dance floor. They go get their drinks, they get their seats, they sit down, they're bobbing their heads. I'll play something. For instance, like this new record that's going on, that's playing right now called Back Together. Anthony Hamilton. Whoever produced that, they chopped the hell out of Fire and Desire by Rick James and Tina Marie. They chopped it up dope. Even though people was clowning about how Anthony Hamilton is singing, that's up for debate. But the track as a whole is dope. When the first day I got it, if I would have DJ'd at the club 2 days later, I would have tried to play that like by 9:20, 9:30 before we went on air, just to say there's some new R&B by Anthony Hamilton, just to see how people responded. But if we jumped on air and that dance floor is packed, I'm not finna do it, because collectively they don't know what it is. You see what I'm saying? Now hip hop, that's a weird one, because I've come across some stuff where I'm like, I know damn well this record is dope, but they're not gonna know it's dope. I already know they're not gonna accept it, but I know like I said, a whole month, watch, this same record is gonna be banging. And that's happened a million times. It's not the DJ's fault. It's like, we trying to give y'all new stuff, you're closed-minded. Until someone else play it, then we can play. You forced us. We can't be our own DJ, especially with radio, because you're dealing with Spotify and everything else. If they don't hear it there, here and there, it doesn't have any value. But then it'll be like, I tried to play that for you 6 months ago, stupid stuff. That's why on my show, the Mad Mix Show, shameless plug, I have the segment called The Brand New Hotness. And that's where I do play a new song right then and there. It's not to interrupt the mix show, but it has its own segment. So people who like it, I don't introduce it, nothing. I just say it's Brand New Hotness, goes into the song. People with Shazam figures out what it is, because I debuted the Anthony Hamilton track. I was one of the first DJs out here playing that damn DJ Cool Cha Cha Cha. I was playing that in January. Mm-hmm. A month ago, you got that new. We was playing that. We was playing that Usher and what's her name song, that R&B song that Jermaine, we was playing that back in September, to the point we stopped playing it. Then when other stations started playing it, then all of a sudden it's a new song 8 months later. Mm-hmm. Those same ideals do go to the club, as sad as it sounds. There's not a plateau for us to say, well, we're here, this whole night's gonna be stuff you ain't never heard. People don't dance off of stuff that they don't know. That's really the truth.
Well,
it's screwed up.
Can you believe that it's been an hour already? And that's the
hell
show.
Yeah, I can believe that. So, I'm just saying.
It was moved so fast because it was so robust and the conversation was so great. So give them the information, give them all your social media, tell them where they can hear you, where they can get mixes, all that. Tell them everything.
I am and always will be the infamous DJ Remix, and wherever you are, that's where I'm at. I'm even on TikTok. I have yet to do a TikTok. I ain't TikTok yet, but I'm even there. The infamous DJ Remix is on Instagram. I don't hang out at Twitter, but the infamous DJ Remix is on Twitter. The infamous DJ Remix on Facebook. You can email infamousdjremix@gmail.com. Other plateaus I am at. If you want to hear mixes, I am at Mixcloud. Search the infamous DJ Remix on Mixcloud. PlayTV.dj, which is finna make its return in the next 3 days. I'm there. Yeah, I'm there. Also, the show, The Mad Mix Show. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Facebook. And of course, you got the infamous DJRemix.com or the infamous1.com. That's the number 1. Shout out to my man, DJ Shell of LA, because he's the one that gave me the moniker Infamous. It didn't exist before 2001. I was always DJ Remix, but he said his boy is infamous. So shout out to DJ Shell of LA. He gave me the moniker of that. So that's how you find the infamous one. Let me see. Of course, I'm on Power 88 out here, local radio station. Download the app, listen, follow along on Instagram and everything. Shout out to my music director, DJ Benzo over there. He just loved what we do with the Mad Mix Show. Shout out to my online syndicated tag team partner, Miss Violet, who you went on Conversation and Wine, and she had the honor of interviewing you and your wife. See how I do it? I work all them shameless plugs in here. Yeah. But that's how you keep up with the infamous one. And everybody that knows me personally knows, you know, I love what I do, and I'm a DJ. But you know, I love my family, and my grandchild is the spice of my life. You know, so that's kind of where a little bit of my stuff is going. Because what people don't know, my son, my youngest son, he's about to be 18 in December. And quite honestly, with everything that has happened and evolved with the passing of their mother, 9 years ago, my main goal for DJing in the school districts, honestly, was to defend my children. I have 2 daughters. One finna be 23 next month. As a matter of fact, a month from tomorrow, July 3rd, she finna be 23. I have a 19-year-old, and then my son is 17. In between them was a girl that didn't make it. That's why my son made it. Rest in peace to Angel. But my whole morality for DJing at schools was for them, especially my daughters. They went to schools. I wanted them to know that, well, hey, their dad, that's DJ Remix. He'll, you know, that's their dad. I want one, yeah. Girls have dads. That was my major reason for doing that. And a few times, having that helped. My daughter would, you know, she'd get into a fight, but actually it's not her getting into a fight. It's the girl trying to fight her and her defending herself. And they want to play, well, both parties get expelled. The black principal told the white principal, he said, check this out. Mr. James over there, he said, that's the dad, the parent that we want. He's always here. DJing has always been what I did. My regular job is being a husband, father, and a DJ. That's it. There ain't no 9 to 5. My ass is 24/7. Mm-hmm. That black guy told that white principal, he said, if we suspend his daughter, you do realize he works for a radio station, and he could get on there and talk bad about us. Crazy D, I was not going to do that, but my daughter didn't get suspended. So I say that as a DJ, it's not just as much as it's about the music and from DJing. There's real life that sits behind this. Music is the soundtrack to everybody's life. I could sit here and tell you that I had 78s of Elvis Presley that I inherited from my great grandmother. My original Message 12-inch I got from my grandmother. Them 45s was my mom's. I got a record that my dad was a drummer in the band. I have his song. I've mixed it on the radio before. Called Let's Go Disco by a group called Billy O from 1979. Look it up. That's my dad on the drums. Every song that comes out, I can tell you when my daughter was born, what was going on then. When this one was born. I say that because after my son graduates, he'll be a senior this coming year. I'm probably going to retire from DJing for the school district. For schools. I'm just going to, because my whole moral, it was really about my kids. Like, my mission is done. Except the one that's probably going to bring me out of retirement is that fish boy of mine. Paw Paw's on, Mr. Braylon. If he say, Paw, can you come? Then the infamous one will come out of retirement. But after this, I'm going to leave kid stuff alone. I ain't going to stop DJing. But there's going to come a point where I'm not going to retire from DJing, but I'm just literally not going to DJ clubs and stuff. I like doing radio. I prefer radio. I grew up on radio. Radio is where my heart is at. Syndicated. It just, people driving can respect what you're playing better than going to the club. When you go to the club, people really, you the DJ, they expecting Beyonce and Jesus to walk in holding hands doing a TikTok video. When I'm on radio, if you listening to me on radio and I hand you a new song that I know sounds good to me, you receive it better than me trying to force it to you at a club. That's just the reality. And I would hope that you're not inebriated while you're driving like you are at the club, because if you're in your right mind driving, you will receive the song better. That's why I love doing radio. I appreciate you allowing me the time to be on your platform, Mr. Crazy D. Shout out
Oh,
to
yeah,
your wife.
absolutely.
Y'all follow him. The film review. They be reviewing stuff. Like he reviewed that movie John Henry, which sucked. But we ain't gonna talk about that right now. No, we not. That movie sucked.
John Henry was good. John Henry was good. For the reasons why we said it on the film review, Movies, Music, Culture, Politics, Society podcast,
go see
every Sunday at 5:30
reasons
p.m.
for why he said, look, hey, Crazy D. Terry Crews was not whack. He did his job. The production and writing wasn't nobody else. That's my own opinion on that. But no, and I really appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you, man. And it was funny because I just had you on the Magic Show last week.
You did,
So,
and that was a beautiful. The mixing you were doing, the mix you did with God, what's the first record? But I know Luther Vandross. You brought Luther Vandross in off of it. That
Right.
was cold. You know, so we was listening to the whole thing. You know what I mean? So
Appreciate that,
shout
dude.
out and kudos to you as usual. You've always been a cool dude since we first met back in 2012, right? At the album.
It was 12, 10, 11. Man, it's man, yep.
Yeah.
Evander
It's
Holyfield.
almost 10. It's almost 10.
Yeah, it's almost 10,
Almost
yeah.
10. It's amazing.
Yep.
You know?
Amazing, man. I want to shout out the people my people that I know is actually watching. I got my people out there in Arizona, my old stomping ground. My man DJ Jump Off. Actually, he's from there. Well, he was in Arizona. He in San Diego, but I got DJ buddies out there. Shout out to WUBI Radio. That's one of my online affiliates. My man DJ Balo, Lockdown, all the big homies out there. Crack Radio, Benny RC, all them. Shout out to my LA people listening. Definitely to my Vegas people. You know what I'm saying? And with everything that's going on, I'm going to just end this right here. And I'm still say, we can't let off the gas. Don't put the brake on. We can't let off the gas. I'm not inciting negativity. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about positivity. We cannot let off the gas.
And
I ain't never heard of a third degree, just like I ain't never heard of a seventh gear and a stick shift.
Right, and then don't let the kumbaya get in there and muddy the message, water down the message. It's got to be full.
Don't let them infiltrate.
Yeah, I want to shout out to Balo.
Don't let them infiltrate.
I want to shout out to Balo too, because I used to get music from him for the store back in the day.
Oh, okay.
I used to get the mixes from him because he had his distribution. Then, So shout out to Balo. He did good business.
Yeah, right? He's the program director for WUBI. That's my people.
Yeah. So that's it, Remix. We've done it. We hit every topic. TFR. Look, there you go. Representing. Hashtag TFR Podcast Live. Let's talk DJing. Technique, skills, music, rocking the party. We covered it all with the infamous one. The infamous DJ Remix from the Mad Mix Show.